Hello, everybody, and welcome back to M&J Games. I am Michael, and today we are looking at a really cool coaster creation, and it is called Phantom-B&M Invert, and is created by Brooks321. This was actually created back in February, but for some reason I never saw it on the workshop until the other day when it I was looking online and somehow it popped up in the feed, and I thought, man, this is really looks really cool. I want to take a look at it, and so I want to spotlight it. And as you can see, this is a really long coaster, but it looks just awesome. It's got some very realistic elements, and I can definitely see where I believe the creator took some inspiration from certain coasters. Like the massive loop there looks a lot like Banshee, very similar. And then you've also got this, oh gosh, what's this called? Is this technically a dive loop? I don't know the technical name for it, but that's the first inversion on Banshee. So it looks like there's some Banshee inspiration. You've got a Cobra roll, and I don't know too many inverts that have a Cobra roll, but obviously it can be done. And there's also just a ton of path and queue interaction here, as you can see. And then this is obviously like spooky themed. And so we'll take a look at this at daytime and nighttime, and I want to kind of give, point out some things that are really awesome and give my couple little tidbits on just a couple suggestions. But overall, I think the layout's fantastic. And one thing that I did change on here for the sake of this was the creator had this running three cars or three trains, and I changed it to two because when you had three trains running, there's always a coaster waiting there at the top of the lift hill for a while. And then sometimes you'd have one waiting here. So I just feel like the coaster was too long for it to have three trains in terms of the amount of space in between the block sections. And then one other thing I want to point out too is with this zero G roll. So I think that's an in-game piece because of how tight or how drastic the incline is. Because if you look at a lot of inverts and their zero G rolls they're a little bit more flattened out. So that's maybe the only like realism thing in terms of the coaster layout that I would mention. And you can really tell kind of looking at a lot of this that this creator is really going for realism with the coaster. And yeah, it's a spooky theme, but nothing's done over the top. It's all done in the sense of, to me, what looks like realism. And so let's go ahead and start looking at the coaster. So we are down in Plipcam mode as we are getting started. Gonna be going through the queue and stuff. I mean, just great views all around. This is just fantastic. I could just imagine what this would look like, in kind of a section of the park. Oh, I should have gotten that view right there. But going over zero G roll. But yeah, this is really cool. And then you've got some of these kind of wider elements at the end. And so I like putting the fencing here. I think that's a good touch because there are some areas that I'll mention that I think there should be fencing, and I can show you guys for somebody who'd have something like this a good fence that I found on the workshop that I believe I still have downloaded, and I think it was either NH99 or TED07386 that made it. But right away, as you can see, very well done with the spooky theme here at the entrance. The animatronic spider just looks fantastic. You got all the spider webs. And in terms of an individual coaster that's not located in a park, this is by far the best queue that I've seen for an individual coaster layout. And so it's got some cattle pinning to it, but you've also got these walls here that makes it not necessarily seem like it is. And then you've got obviously the wooden roof. Love the kind of crypt feel to it. And then you've got these nice lights. And so right when you're out here, if you're waiting, you've just got all this track that's being intertwined and looks amazing. Yeah, it looks really cool. I'd maybe just do some terrain paint. Um, and then one thing I'll show too and mention is I feel like this needs a fencing around there. Um, just because obviously a guest could hop this gate, so some kind of protective fencing. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because this creator's obviously gone for realism with this coaster. And so when you're going for realism, I feel like you got to have that, think about so many different aspects. But then we go inside here, and this is a cool view here too, where you can see the coaster. Then we come around this way. Same thing here. You can see the coaster kind of passing through the station. So really, really cool with all the different interactions and stuff. And this is a really long queue. Man, that looks so majestic. Like that looks a lot like on Banshee, where it's like when you're walking up to the coaster. I mean, it is so majestic looking with the hill and stuff like that. Now this hill is a little bit less steep than a lot of B&M inverts, but that is a really cool touch right there. If anybody hasn't seen the POV for Banshee, I suggest going and checking it out because it's got some really cool elements that you normally don't see in other inverts. And the elements are a little bit more spaced out to where it's not necessarily as intense as like Batman the Ride or probably Nemesis or some of them, but it's still just an amazing coaster. And I love how you get up here, you've got all these spooky pieces too. And then we've got the curtain, you've got the bars. Really, really well done. And then this station's nice too. And it's, let's see, and it's lit up with those candles, not candles, those torches and stuff. Man, this is just awesome. Really well done. And so let's actually ride this at night first because since it is a spooky, let's see if it'll let me click on it. There we go. So if we look at the stats, we've got not green all the way across, but if we look at the results, so 4,921 meter or feet, because I did change it to feet. 143 feet is the biggest drop. G-forces look really good. So let's coaster should be back in the station soon. Here we go. And then we'll take a ride on this at daytime too, and we'll probably ride in a different seat view. All right, so before we ride the coaster again, as we look at nighttime, this whole area, let's kind of walk through the queue real quick, just again to see if anything looks drastically different. I mean, it looks like it's lit up well enough, nothing too crazy. But yeah, so the overall layout is really good, and the coaster, there's like one or two areas maybe that I want to point out because there's one thing where there's like it was banked a little bit. And I don't necessarily know why or the reasoning behind it. Um, but yeah, so as we're kind of walking through the queue, you can kind of see the lighting. Oh, that's kind of cool having the kind of chandelier, even though it's not really a chandelier, kind of right above the coaster track here. So yeah, it looks really good. Last thing, let's see if we go to the this way. I wanted to see what this last entrance part kind of looked like lit up. Yeah, that looks good. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. Fantastic job. So now, if we go back to daytime, the one thing that I wonder about this is this might have just been by accident too, not meaning to do it, but it's like it banks a little bit here coming out, and then it unbanks again. So I don't really know why this part banked, but absolutely love the layout. Like I said, I wish in the game they gave us more options for zero G rolls instead of this drastic one that's a little bit more flat. Um, and I think the first drop was pretty good. Now it's a lot of B&M inverts have a much deeper drop than this, so this isn't really the most realistic in terms of what you see on like Batman the Ride and Banshee and stuff, because those are pretty darn steep. But this was really smooth, and it kind of gradually got to its highest speed, which I think was perfect for. I think you had to do it this way for wanting to have this massive loop go over the track, which is really cool. And then I think the combination of the hill to this point down here is just really well done. And so let's see if we so that coaster's, let's see what mode do we want to look at it in. Let's see. I don't know if I've ever done chase mode on an invert, so we'll see. Yeah, I like that overbanked hill right, or kind of turn right there too. And I love the coloring for it as well. The kind of black and white looks awesome. All right, so yeah, that was really well done. And maybe the only other thing that I can think of is maybe gating the entire kind of around the ride. Like I said before, I think that over here, I think you should place these. Let's see. I think you should place these right here. Oops. Just kind of going around the coaster a little bit, just because it would protect the guests and stuff like that. Um, so it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You just kind of place it around this area. You could even have it just kind of loop around all this area. And then I would maybe smooth out this a little bit. So I feel like it kind of looks a little bit rough, whereas if you just take that smoothing tool and smooth it, it looks a little bit more naturally cut out. Um, that's just me. And then let me see if I can find this last piece that I was talking about, because this would be a really cool piece to kind of section off or put like a fencing around the parts of the ride. Um, let's see, it would be under scenery, more filters. This is gonna be a fence. Yeah, so this fence right here. So you can see it's just this part, this component. If you put it down like this, it creates this. It will create this kind of cool kind of look around the coaster. Gosh, I can't. I'm not doing anything right now. There we go. So if you kind of have the coaster kind of outlined by this piece of fence, that would be a really kind of cool touch. And you could even have it like this, or you could have it kind of be double like that. It's really up to you, but I think that would be kind of really cool having a fencing like this going around since this kind of fits with the spooky mold. And so that one is, if you just type in fencing on the workshop, it definitely comes up. And yeah, so love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Like I said, I absolutely love this coaster, this layout, love everything about it. And even though I gave a couple suggestions, that's just my opinion for suggestions. And oh, I didn't even notice this circular. That's really cool. Really well done. Oh, that's cool. I might have just put some kind of little fence roofing in here to kind of um, make that kind of sectioned off. You could put water in there or something to fill that up, and yeah. But yeah, this is really well done. You've even got a shop right here. Yeah, this is fantastic. Like I said, this was made back in February, so this was made a while ago, but they did such a good job kind of using a lot of the elements and stuff. And make sure to go on the workshop, download and rate this creation, and make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your day.